Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the YouTube channel. Welcome back. Today's topics, I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about the physical aspect of our health and the mental aspect of our health, which is something I'm going to normally do anyway. If I'm unorthodox and you find it difficult to follow me, that's okay. It's difficult for me to follow myself sometimes. I just accept it. I do not become self-conscious about it. I don't internalize these things. I realize I just am who I am, and people can accept it or people cannot, and that's up to you. If you really have beef with me about it, just meet me on the golf course, because I was hitting the ball really well today and I feel like I'm ready to go out there and compete. Just kidding. So in any case, I want to start with the physical aspect. So high intensity interval training. In my last video, we talked a lot about a study that I was following up with in the American College of Sports Medicine Journal, and it had to do with the differences between high intensity interval training and moderate intensity training on our cardiometabolic status. All right, so when we do high intensity training, we are introducing high resistance, high octane, high energy output. We have to perform work. We have to increase our metabolic equivalence in order to increase our heart rate, in order to start breathing harder. And what happens when we're breathing harder? That means that our body has run out of blood glucose, and the metabolic requirements needed to continue the work that we're doing in the gym, at your job, whatever the case may be, is going to need another energy source. And so we have to access our fat cells for energy. This is called beta oxidation. And so when we do these high intensity workouts, we are boosting ourselves towards a lactate threshold, if you will. If we train hard enough, anybody can reach their threshold. It's how in shape or out of shape you are that determines how quickly you reach that threshold. And when we do so, we are putting stress on our cells of our body, and our cells have to adjust. So this is the cardiometabolic aspect of it. So our cells have to adjust. They gain mitochondrial count. Where our metabolism occurs in the cells is the mitochondria. So if we have more mitochondria in our cells, we have a greater efficiency to deal with our energy systems during these workouts, okay? And so in one of the previous videos that I had, I introduced my Neptune workout. And what I meant by my Neptune workout is that the acceleration due to gravity is heavier on Neptune. It's greater than it is on Earth. So we would be heavier. So I was introducing more weight to my body workouts. And when I was utilizing the elliptical machine to keep my heart rate increased or to get rid of my blood glucose quickly, I introduced a high amount of METs, a high amount of resistance, significantly increasing my heart rate in a short period of time. And so for those of us who want to do something like that, you know, whether you go for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, or 10 minutes, what I was finding myself doing was being on an elliptical machine at high intensity for 10 minutes, METs in between 12 and 16 METs. I was doing intervals on the elliptical machine itself. I was fluctuating between 16 and 12 METs, 12 METs around there to catch my breath, back up to 16, and continuing to work. And then after that, accessing with a short break, using resistance training to continue utilizing what glucose is left. Your body's going to naturally go through gluconeogenesis to replace that blood glucose for energy, but it can't keep up as long as we keep active. And so, you know, you're looking at going at it for in between 45 minutes and an hour. Duration of that workout is very prolonged, and it's very effective. I am currently at 178 pounds. I was at 195 pounds about 6 months ago. I decided to change my diet up a little bit. I don't drink, and so I find it easier for me to change my body composition. And right now I'm at 14% body fat. Just checked it on bioelectrical impedance analysis. I came from the VA for an appointment today, blood work done, all that good stuff, and we are healthy, ready to go. And so today I didn't have really a lot of time. I spent 45 minutes in the gym. Some of that is warming up, but I used my Neptune approach, all right? And I accessed the cardio machines for 20 minutes total. So 10 at the beginning and I did 4 resistance exercises in a circuit manner, and 1 was power. So I'll introduce power, but my goal is not to bench press 350 pounds anymore. If that's the case, then I'll spend more time and time under tension, heavier workload, and I can get into the strategy more in detail if folks want that information. But so that's what I did in terms of the high intensity training. And one of the research articles that I've been interested in talked about the cardiometabolic effects, but it also talked about self-regulatory skills that people have over time. They develop self-efficacy or confidence that they can accomplish the goals that they set out to achieve, right? And so these are mental skills. And what was happening was these people went through a 12-week supervised program, and then within 24 weeks, the majority of them were right back to being Joe Schmo on the block, or Joey Bag of Donuts, as Dan Bongino likes to say. Shout out to my man Dan. They were going right back to their old ways. And so long-term adherence, individual adherence, they didn't have their self-regulatory skills in order. They weren't organized. Their mindset was not in the right place for whatever reason, and you lose focus on your objectives and your goals. And when you slip and you lose some ground, you lose confidence, you lose that self-efficacy. And so that was something that I really took from this article, and I found really interesting. But the high intensity interval training had a more significant positive impact on our cardiometabolic systems in terms of how our cells function and handle the resistance that we provide our bodies during workouts. The second thing I wanted to talk about, the mental aspect, was it had to do with my card collecting. I collect football cards, and I have for the last couple of years. When I was a kid, I used to love to do it, and so I wanted to get back into it. And I felt like I had kind of gotten out of touch with football, the sport that I grew up loving and adoring. And I really wanted to get back into the game. There are some new bright stars out there, one being Patrick Mahomes. Of course, he recently won the Super Bowl. And so I wanted to start collecting his cards. And he got very good very quickly. And so his cards increased significantly in value in a short period of time last year. And so I bought them when I felt they were really expensive. However, as I gained knowledge and gained experience in this business of purchasing cards and which ones to purchase, and how to purchase them, whether in a lot or individually, how you function in a world of shipping and handling and these type of things, I wasn't aware that these things could still significantly increase in value, and that they did. Within a year and a half, his cards increased in value significantly. I'm talking about 50%, 60, 70, 100%, 150%. For example, I purchased 3 2017 Panini Prism refractors, base refractors, that I purchased for an average of $52 a piece. I bought 3 of them, and I sold each for $160 to $170 a piece, right? And so you gain sentimental value, like you gain a sort of attachment to these things. It becomes a bigger part of who we are. For example, our egos, right? This becomes an extension of who we are. When we grow an attachment for these things, it becomes an extension of who we are. And I choose not to live through my ego as much. So I want to dissolve some of my ego to live through myself. And when you live through yourself, you're living through the light of whatever creator, whatever the case of whatever universe that you believe in. And you find your self-truth. You find your purpose, and you learn to live through that purpose while dissolving some of your ego, or all of it if you're a monk. And so that's what these monks do. They dissolve their ego and they live in the light. They're in a constant state of stillness, if you will. And that's beyond what we're going to talk about today. But I wanted to practice the art of letting go. When you can let go, you can dissolve that ego. Your ego can be put in check. Don't let other people put your egos in check, right? And when that happens, it can hit you like a ton of bricks, and it's a negative impact on our psyche, on our emotions. We get anxiety when we have to be brought down to earth. When your hot air balloon is deflated, right? And so that has to do with your ego. When you go through a breakup or something, that hurts your ego. That's why a lot of people, on many occasions, go out and about after they were in a serious relationship and they find a source of replenishing that ego, if you will, right? And that need to be wanted, or whatever the case. I practice the art of letting go. So I took the majority of my Pat Mahomes rookie cards that I had collected over the last, year and a half, and I sold them. As of yesterday, they are mostly sold. I kept some important ones for my own collection, but I sold the rest of them. And it was hard work to get, and it was a lot of money. And so I turned, I spent a little over $1,000. I turned it into a $2,800 profit, nearly 200% profit. That's what happened. And so it was really nice. It was a small amount of money, but at the same time, it was nice. I've got a little bit of, not a little bit, I've got no money to spend on myself. I have to invest it in myself. That's going to have a return on investment. That's what the game plan is. And this is what we learn. We learn to be able to let go in order for a greater purpose. And that is an emotional purpose. That's a personal purpose of letting go and keeping my own ego in check. I'm not going to let the cards define who I am. I'm not going to let my belongings define who I am. I drive a nice car. I have a nice small studio apartment that gives me a nice cooking area, nice stove, a nice kitchen, and a nice area for a big bed so that I can replenish my spirit, my soul, and my physical being, and get ready for the next day and then press forward. We are always looking to improve and move forward. I got accepted into grad school yesterday to the Citadel down in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm still waiting on UMass Boston, my alma mater, to get back to me, but I have high hopes for that as well. So whether I stay in Boston or not, or go wherever, I'm prepping. I have like 3 plans right now, and that's what I'm going to do. I want to accomplish certain things in my life. I want to increase my base salary with a master's degree. I'd like to get a PhD. I've gained this mentality that I want to be the first person in my family to be a doctor. And that could happen. I'm going to keep pressing forward. It doesn't matter how old I am. I spent 9 years in the Marine Corps. You give up that decorated career and move on. And I've gone through many ups and downs. And what we do is we learn from these things. We make significant changes to dissolve that which is not needed in our minds. And we do this by practicing our mentality, letting go. And that's what I did yesterday. And it feels great. My golf swing's better. My back feels great. My legs feel great. I worked out this morning. I only had 45 minutes. So I altered my workout, self-regulatory skills, right? We worked on those. I had confidence I was going to be able to get up early at the sound of Reveille. I had everything written down. I thought about it the night before. I don't have to think in the moment because I have already thought. I've meditated on this. I practice the Aurelius approach of Stoicism. And so by no means am I a professional, nor will I ever be at that. But I use these tools to keep an even keel. We stay in our even keel. As time moves forward, we stay in our even keel instead of way up and way down, right? That's what we do. And so cardiometabolic effects, our minds, what it has on the effect that working out has on our muscles, our muscle cells. We break the cells down. Protein synthesis occurs then. When we increase our protein intake, we're breaking our muscle cells down, introducing more protein intake to allow protein synthesis to occur, and hypertrophy or muscular hypertrophy can then occur, where the muscles grow in size and they gain in their strength and the ability to produce force over a specific distance, which is work. And so that's what we talked about, and that has a significant effect on your mind and your brain. These are facts. These are 100% facts. We are learning that when you increase your cardiometabolic efficiencies, that we are able to promote regeneration of brain cells. Check that out. I want to do more research on that. But in the meantime, we learn to practice our mentality. We develop new mindsets, and we live through our ideas. When you have an idea or you've heard an idea, give it a shot. I think I just gave you a couple of ideas. High intensity interval training. If you have questions, feel free to email me, message me on Facebook, whatever the case. And we can work it from there. I would love to consult individuals. I'd love to consult groups. I spent the evening looking up, I was actually disappointed. I spent the evening looking up on a map of Boston the number of outside or outdoors exercise areas, and there were only 3. Now, I can make a playground for children a platform for exercise success. All right, I can do anything, and we can do anything we want. Just have to put our minds to it and then go do it. And so I'm creating this type of platform on my website, imm.heart.com, and it's going to be nice. I'm looking forward to assisting people, investing in a community, investing in individuals. It is an investment initiative, and we need to take an initiative to invest in ourselves, right? And so we want to invest in ourselves. We want to invest in those around us. And that's not just money. We're talking about time. We're talking about other resources. We're talking about investing ideas. We're talking about investing brain power, physical power. All of these things we want to invest in ourselves to improve our way of life. All right? So God bless everybody. Stay motivated and have a fantastic day.